Disordered eating versus eating disorders. What is the difference and why does it even matter? Hi guys, I'm Tash, a certified holistic health coach and breathwork facilitator, supporting women and teenagers to regain their period or get pregnant when they have hypothalamic amenorrhea, which is an energy imbalance due to overexercise or undereating and some kind of mental stress as well. So disordered eating involves behaviours that affect your physical and mental health, but they do not meet the criteria for an actual eating disorder, but they can lead to one. So imagine a ruler. One side of the ruler is normal behaviours and normal eating behaviours. The other side is eating disorder. So disordered eating fits somewhere in the middle. So on the side of the normal eating behaviours, that is the flexibility around food, not feeling guilt and shame around food, and also being quite neutral with your body and body image. On the other side of the ruler, the eating disorder side, that's quite rigid and there's a lot of rules around that. And often we are concerned with our body image. So like I said, disordered eating falls somewhere in the middle. Disordered eating comes with rigidity. It is taking that step further than just being health conscious and wanting to make healthy decisions in life. Disordered eating traits and behaviors can actually be normalized and can be quite sneaky and brushed off, like just normal things like yo-yo dieting, for example. They can even be idolized in this society too. Things like not eating fats, avoiding social events because it clashes with your exercise regime, cutting out, avoiding certain food groups and maybe feeling really anxious if you're eating certain food groups, being obsessed with clean eating, checking all the labels, feeling really guilty about food and having rigid rules around food and movement, like, okay, I will eat that, but I need to go to the gym later. Does disordered eating actually require treatment? So not everyone with disordered eating will need treatment, but perhaps if it's affecting your mental health, the way you think around food, your day-to-day life, if it's impacting your social events, then you might benefit and really would like some help. And you are so deserving of that help, no matter how much you feel like you're not that severe enough. So what about eating disorders then? So eating disorders actually meet a specific criteria. According to the DSM-5, the 5 eating disorders are anorexia, bulimia, binge eating, avoidance, restrictive food intake disorder, and other specified feeding and eating disorder. Orthorexia actually is a eating disorder, and this is classed as clean eating and taking clean eating too far, but this is not in the diagnosis at the moment. So the first one, anorexia, is when you are severely restricting food and there is some severe weight loss and a lot of attention around your body, meaning you're really scared to gain any weight. Bulimia includes episodes of binging and then afterwards purging, and the cycle continues. It's a very vicious cycle. Binging meaning you're eating a large amount in one go and you often feel like there's loss of control, and purging meaning that you might take laxatives or make yourself vomit or excessive exercise. Bulimia does mess up your digestion and you can retain a lot of water and therefore bloat. The best thing to do with bulimia is to honour that physical and mental hunger. You may binge, but try and stop yourself from the purging aspect. Try and break that cycle. Purging just reinforces that cycle. So binge eating disorder is next. So this involves, again, eating a large amount of food, feeling really out of control and maybe even feeling numb as well. But it hasn't got that purging aspect like bulimia has. It's not just having the odd few extra cookies and feeling like you've overindulged. It's extreme loss of control and feeling extremely numb. Sometimes you don't even remember what you ate within your binge. Binges can be planned out methodically, or they can be totally spontaneous. Avoidance, restrictive food intake disorder, a little bit of a mouthful, was actually introduced in 2013 to DSM-5. This could be avoiding certain foods and restricting what you eat, but it doesn't really come with the tie of body image issues. So body image issues are not at the core here. Example could be that you're seen as a really picky eater, or maybe you don't want to eat certain foods because you have such a fear that you will get ill from them. A diagnosis of this one will not be made if you fall into one of the other eating disorder categories more and you relate more to them. Other specified feeding and eating disorder is one that doesn't fit the other specifications above. So it's classed as an other specified feeding and eating disorder. This could mean being super focused on food, yo-yo dieting, extreme mood swings, not going to social events, and having really bad body image days. An example could be night feeding syndrome, where you're waking up through the night repeatedly to eat. Or maybe you've got all the signs and symptoms of anorexia, but you have not lost a significant amount of weight. So you think you've got an eating disorder or maybe disordered eating. So what happens now? What do you do? Whether it's disordered eating or an eating disorder, it's going to be affecting your mental and physical health in some way. You have to change your goal. You have to come to terms with the fact of losing weight can no longer be your goal. It doesn't align with the goal of treatment. You can get support through charities like Beat or any other specialists. The women and the teenagers that I help have lost their period, and you can have an eating disorder and not lose your period. But this usually I see comes with some form and some degree of disordered eating. No matter the type of degree that you fall in, no matter how severe you think it is, you are so deserving and worthy of getting some treatment, getting some support and help. Think about all the negative consequences of having that disordered eating thoughts, or maybe that eating disorder. Maybe it's not being able to eat with family. You're isolating yourself from social events and friends. You're feeling really lonely. You're constantly thinking about food, tracking food. Is this food good enough? Should I eat that? Looking at calories. Now think about all the positive aspects of disordered eating or eating disorder. There will be positive aspects, or your brain won't keep doing it. Maybe it helps you feel really in control of your life, which is a false sense of belief, but it's what your brain tells you. And maybe it helps you manage those really tough emotions. Now think of all the benefits if you recovered and made those steps between a better relationship with food, your body, and movement. How would that change your life? What aspects would it change your life? With your friends, with your family, with your career, with just your mental state, your physical state. Now think about, lastly, the personal cost to you to change, to make those steps, to make those changes, to recover. What would be the cost? What would you have to change? What would you have to give up? How would your mindset have to change? How would you have to rewire those beliefs and those thoughts, those automated default no answers that you may give? Our thoughts and actions reaffirm each day how we feel and our beliefs. So we need to remember that everything we are doing is that reaffirming that gaining weight is bad. What aspects of your routine needs to change? What would it cost you to change? You would need to get outside your comfort zone. So how would you manage that change? These are just a few questions I'd love for you to ponder on. And if you do need some help, like I said, there is charities like Beat or specialists, and I personally help women and teenagers regain their periods back or get pregnant when they're missing their periods due to hypothalamic amenorrhea, which, like I said, usually there's some kind of eating disorder or disordered eating that goes hand in hand with that. So if you are missing your period and you think it might be HA, then just reach out to me. But you are so deserving of recovery and just living your life to the full.